are the breaks? That's what I want to know. But it was interesting to watch a film after you've shot it. With a TV show, not so much, because the episodes come not too long after you've shot them. When you shoot a film, you actually see it months later. So we shot the film like in May or something, and we didn't get to see it until Thanksgiving. So I remember when I watched Generations, I was in New York with Patrick. I mean, not with Patrick, we were in New York at the same time. Don't want to start any rumors. Got a husband I got to worry about, So anyway, so we're both in New York, and Patrick is the kind of actor who is, he's the right kind of actor who basically says, I won't talk to the press until I've seen the movie. The rest of us are like, we don't need to see the movie. We're going to say it's fabulous. Even about insurrection. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we're like... Did you like Insurrection? What's your favourite? Oh, when Riker and Troy got back to it. Because I was like... Wake me up when it's finished. No, it wasn't my favourite of the movies. In fact, it's probably my least favourite of the movies. But anyway, so I'm watching the film at the Paramount Building in New York, in a room about this size, with a big-ass screen at the end, and like armchairs instead of regular chairs, and a bar with like drink and nibbly bits to eat, and it was cool. So I'm sitting there with Patrick watching the movie. And do you remember there was a part in the movie where the Enterprise actually gets nuked? Do you remember in the Nexus it gets nuked? Yeah. Right, so I'm watching the film, and of course, by that time, I've forgotten everything about the film, right? So I go, oh my God. And Patrick goes, what is it, darling? And I said, Patrick, we're dead. We're dead. And I'm thinking, they killed us off. And they're going to continue with just Patrick. And probably a bunch of cheap Voyager actors. I don't mean cheap in that way, I mean they didn't cost as much as we did by that time. Because they were new, right? Anyway, so Patrick goes, oh darling, don't you remember? I go back into the Nexus and save the universe. And I went, oh yeah, stupid me, how could I forget, Of course he went back into the Nexus and saved the universe. We had all these hunky guys in that movie, and at the end of the movie, it's the 3 grumpy old men fighting each other. Right? Old Baldy. I can call him Old Baldy, because he's not here. Malcolm McDowell and Bill Shatner. And I love that poster of Generations with Patrick and Bill, because I call it 2 captains, 1 hairpiece. As you notice, I'm not as sweet as Troy. Now, another thing that happened when we were shooting Generations was just before, when we were going through that big battle, and before we crashed, we had to do this the biggest stunt of the movie, which was when the bridge got blown up. Now, you've probably all seen those, Discovery Channel, Hollywood, special effects things on TV. So, pretty much, you only want to do it once, because you're basically destroying the set. So you rehearse and rehearse and rehearse until the cows come home, and you want everybody to know what they're doing, and because things are actually exploding. I mean, it's not like anything heavy. What they use is like burnt cork. So if it does hit you, it's not going to take your eye out. So there's all this stuff lying around, but they do have little mini explosions going everywhere. Well, we're getting ready to shoot the scene finally after like hours of rehearsal. And I'm sitting there, and Jonathan's in the captain's chair. And Tracy, who was driving, her name was Tracy, she got exploded out of her seat, do you remember? Right, so she obviously hadn't been nice enough to date her. So she's out of the seat. Jonathan says to me, Marina, oh no, not Marina, Deanna, that's who's on the Enterprise. Deanna, take the wheel. Not the wheel, what is it? The helm, thank you. Take the helm. So I ran down there. Troy runs like a girl, right? And I sat in the seat, and I was in it for about this long before I screamed, ah, really loud, and jumped out of the seat. Director, David Carson, who is also British, so there's me, Patrick, British director. And you thought you won that war. Okay, is it July 4th? The anti-holiday. Anyway, so David Carson goes, what? Cut, what the? He's furious, right? He's like steam coming out of his ears. What the hell happened? And I said, excuse me. I said, but when Tracy vacated the chair, burning embers flew into it. I sat in it. I have burnt my bum, and there is a hole in my spacesuit. Well, we had to do it again. 5 hours later, it took him to put the set back together. My fellow cast members are not talking to me. I can hear them muttering, stupid Marina, stupid Marina, right, everywhere. Finally, we get to do it again, take 2. David says to me, Marina, I don't care if that chair is in flames. You're going to get in it, you're going to stay in it. And I'm like, yes, sir, will do, yes. So, take 2. Bang, 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 Tracy gets exploded. Jonathan says, Deanna, take the helm. I run down like a girl. And when I got there, I thought, I'm just going to be safe and sorry. And I just wiped the seat. And I looked at David Carson, and he was looking like that, and he went, cut it out. And he went, all right. And I could feel the hatred in the back of my head, you know. But anyway, it's fun. I mean, we had, I have to say, there's no other cast members of any other show here, are there? Okay, Garrett's gone, right? Okay. Is Garrett still here?
No, he's gone.
Good, okay. We were the only cast that genuinely loved each other. There's never going to be a book by any of the TNG cast, because no publisher is ever going to want to publish a book where you say, we all really loved each other. Because they want to hear dirt. And there was no dirt. We really, from day one, not even day one of filming, day one when we go in for the makeup tests and the hair tests when they decide how we're going to look, Jonathan came into the makeup trailer like a force of nature, and the tone was set, and we laughed non-stop for 7 years and 4 movies. Now, we had a director in the first season who directed 2 shows, and he refused to ever come back because we were too rowdy. Right? And so we were chastised. We were all, Denise was still on the show. That's how early it was. And we were brought, I'm just checking I haven't fallen out of my dress. And we were just, we were all called into Tasha's quarters, and we were chastised like 5-year-olds. Like, this had never happened in the history of Hollywood, and, you know, this was unheard of, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. And Denise, God bless her, she goes, you know, we're here for like 16, 18 hours a day sometimes, and if we don't have fun, you know, it's going to be horrible. And Patrick, who was still, at this time, like I said, very early on, a very serious Shakespearean actor, said, and where, Denise, does it say in our contract that we're here to have fun? Right? We beat him out of that. After 7 years of like 100% concerted effort to like make him like loosen up, he was the silliest one of us all by the end. Wow. And you know what? He actually, I think if you ever see him talk, he will tell you that it was the fact that we kind of worked with him and that what we were like that kind of really loosened him up. In fact, I remember one time we were all having dinner in London together. We were all over for premiere or a con or something, and we were having dinner, and he had his girlfriend at the time. And our favourite pastime when we're with Patrick is to make fun of Patrick. That's the funniest thing to do. And she was getting upset. She was like, oh, you know, I mean, you're really mean. And I went, Lisa, trust me, if we hadn't done this all these years, he would be so appallingly, like, pompous. You wouldn't even want to go out with him, so you should actually be thanking us instead of being pissed at us. So anyway. So I'm going to throw it open to you guys now because I've yacked on for long enough, and think of some questions. I don't think you need a mic. The room is small. I have good hearing. Blind as a bat, but I can hear. So yes.